I am delighted to have been asked by Kilkenny Taste to submit a recipe that I would make up. This would be authentic, I suppose, because I combine the ingredients myself, but I'm sure it's not, and I'm not, the only person that has taught or done this. So I want to say thank you very much to Taste Kilkenny and to Deirdre. And I'm going to start off today with a sweet chilli sauce. I'm going to put that on first, all homemade, and let that simmer in the pot because it has to reduce until it's that nice sticky chilli consistency. And while that's reducing, I'm going to get back here to the table and we're going to make fish cakes, and they're only going to contain prawns, and it's going to be a prawn fish cake, and it's going to be gluten-free because I'm going to combine it with a rice flour. As I'm going along, don't worry about the ingredients. You will have the ingredients underneath you, and you can just actually watch what I'm doing. So I hope you enjoy, and thanks again. Firstly, I'm going to chop the chilies. So some people will chop the chilies and deseed them. These are the bird eye chilies. So these wouldn't be as hot. These are your bonnets, which are very hot. Now I'm going to make a sweet chili sauce. I like hot, but today we're going to use the less heated chilies. I would recommend putting on gloves because the chili will burn your eyes for days. So you can top and tail the chilies and deseed them. A lot of people would deseed the chilies. I'm actually not deseeding them. So I'm just topping and tailing them. Now they might have a lot of seeds in them, but these to me wouldn't be that hot. So I'm slicing them all lengthways. So, now this is where you can deseed them. If you want here, you can take out these guys. So, they don't really bother me, and they give a nice texture in your sweet chili sauce. But if this is the first time for you to make it, take out the seeds, and then you'll know if it's too sweet, you can go back again. Now I'm just roughly chopping these because they're going to go into a mixer and they all chop down. So that's the chilies. Again, I'm not really chopping them that small. If you have a chopper, that's great. If you don't, you can do this by hand because they will reduce and they will go down. I'm actually putting it into, I have a little mixer and chopper, but for the purposes, for you to see better, I'm actually putting it into this. Now this is actually a juicer, a smoothie maker, but still it has a blade and it will do the same purpose. So with that, we're popping the chilies in. And next I'm going to do garlic. Don't be afraid of the garlic. You can use a good 10 cloves. So here's my garlic. And I'm just going to take the end of that off. So I'm going to use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Do we have any more? Now, I'm using this, which I find is really handy, to get the skin off the garlic. If I'm doing it, I can actually take off the gloves, I suppose I'm not. So the end of the garlic, the little hard bit, I'm just taking off, and the skins will come with it. It's safe, the chilies are finished. So this is just a little silicone roller, and it's very handy for taking the skin off garlic because it can, the fresher the garlic as well, the skin will always come off easier. I'm using up as much garlic as I can because I have loads of it here. So again, this is older garlic, so the skin is refusing to come off. If your garlic like this, I'll just cut out the bad bits. And oh, the smell is divine. And again, I'll just... Now I have my cloves roughly chopped up and the skin taken off, and this will also go in to be chopped along with your chilies. I've added the water, and now I'm adding the cider, apple cider. Now I would recommend a good quality apple cider here. Irish apple cider. And it's cloudy, which is very, very good. Now I'm popping this on here. Again, guys, you probably have a proper little mixer. My mixer is small, and for the purposes of it's a smoothie maker, but it will still do the same thing. Then I'm going to put this quite pink mixture into a saucepan. And this is where we add our sugar. Now it's raw sugar. You can get raw sugar in the supermarket. I have actually chosen this one. I like it. It comes in a lump form like this. And you can weigh it out. Now I think I need about 60 grams. So I'll just check what this is. This looks like enough for me. That's 56 grams. So I'm popping that in like that. It'll melt. Again, you mightn't be able to get it in this form, but if you do, it'll melt. You can see the colour coming through. I'm trying to get a little small bit so I don't have to break up. There's about 60. I say that's 60 grams. And this is where you just let it reduce. So I'm turning that on. And as you can see, it is a very wet consistency. Now you can break it down more. I like the chunks of garlic in it. So the whole thing is, this is to reduce into a tacky, sticky, sweet chili. Now the sugar will just dissolve because it came in that form. But also, again, you can get raw sugar that's in loose granule, and that's in the supermarket. So we're going to leave this here, guys. I'm going to add my salt in. Fine salt. And I think that'll be enough. Again, we don't want this to over boil, but you bring it to the boil and then you let it simmer. And it should start forming the stickiness. All in all, it should be done within the 20 minutes. So we'll leave that there and we'll go make our fish cakes. Now, we're back to the fish cakes because everything here, I'm just going to make sure it's turned down really low, is reducing and simmering. So we'll leave the sweet chili sauce. The smell is absolutely fantastic. Now for this, I'm using prawns. So this is your prawn. You can either chop it into little bits like this, see, or you can do halves and leave them like that. I prefer to chop them into smaller bits. So we're just going to chop up the prawns. So I have the prawn chopped up, and now I'm going to chop my chili. Again, guys, whatever preference you have with your chilies, I'm chopping them like this. And then I'll go smaller. You want to be able to have little bursts of these throughout your fish cakes. So, as you can see, it's just roughly chopped. You can go smaller depending on how much of a chili lover you are. I'm leaving the seeds in. So I pop these into a bowl. So there's the prawns gone in and the chilies. So we have these in the bowl. The next I'm going to do is spring onions. A good trick for spring onions is to store them in a glass with a little bit of water, in a cup in the fridge, in an upright position, the same as asparagus. They'll last a lot longer and keep their crunch. So again, just get the chopping board here and we'll take off the roots. Okay. And we'll tail about that. Now I'm looking to get the green. So this is actually going to give you the colour within your fish cakes. It's more the green I'm after. So we add this in. You can see the colours already. Now if you don't use the whole bulb of the spring onion, we're going to be separating eggs, and you can just keep the bulb of the spring onion with your egg yolks for the morning for an omelette. So there's no waste even if you're not using everything in this dish. So it's really this green foliage that we're after. Also, if you weren't making an omelette, these can go back in and they'll stay and they'll regrow. So you'll always have spring onions on hand. So again, going after the green. And I'm just tossing this in. Next we have to separate the eggs and add the rice flour. You can see the mixture here. So we have the chili, we have your spring onion, and we have the prawn. I still have to add fresh coriander. So we're going to add the coriander. Now some people, it depends, you can pick it away and not get the stalks. I actually don't want to get into the stalks. So here's a good bit of coriander. And I find a good way to do this is by bending it as small as you can, even with the stalks. Whoops. Just now I'm adding my coriander. Again, the freshness of this is amazing. And mix it all around. This is where you can also add some black pepper. And I'm using a brown rice flour, but you can also use a white rice flour. So I'm sprinkling this over all the ingredients until it's coated. So as you can see, mix it around. Nothing is sticking to my hand. You kind of wanted that consistency. So it's took the stickiness out of it and it's all dusted. And this is where, guys, we go crack the eggs. I'm going to put 3 eggs in. I'd know by eye. Again, the whole thing, you're using this egg, is to bind what you have in the bowl. Now we don't use the yellow, so I'm putting that aside and I can use it for an omelette in the morning. I'm just lightly whisking up the whites of the egg and I'm going to pour this in onto our dry mixture that I have dusted with the rice flour. All of it goes in. And I'll get my, sorry, now I'm just using another wooden spoon. So I'm just going to mix all this up And as you can see, the mixture now is quite wet again. So this is where you'll see how much more flour you need to add in. So you're going to want to be able to roll these into little fish cakes. So I would recommend adding the flour bit by bit. If you add too much flour, you'll have to add another white of a yolk. So see the way it's getting more tackier and it's absorbing the rice flour. Okay. I am going to get a red chopping board so you can see what's going on here. So that's the mixture. I'll put this out here. I'm going to sprinkle this with a little bit of flour. Okay, so these are my fish cakes. So I'm just going to get a handful like this and I'm going to press them into small little balls. Again, if you find the mixture is too wet, don't be afraid to add more rice flour. Try to do them roughly all the same size. So there's 2. You would definitely get 3 out of this mixture. You'd get 6. So you'd have 3 each at least, or you could do them smaller and have 4. Also, you can have these pre-made, guys, and just a bit of cling film over them and wait until your guests arrive and cook them fresh. The flavour will be enhanced even more because the coriander and the chilli has got time to go in. So we're doing okay here. Yeah, we're going to get 3. If you want to bulk it out, just add more prawns, add more chilies. So there's that one. And we've 1 left. Now this one, this is the crumbs. We should be able to get it perfect. And guys, that's them. I'm going to heat oil then in a shallow pan, about this much oil. You bring the oil to a nice heat. You don't want them cooking on the outside and not on the inside. And pat them down slightly before we put them onto the pan. So that's them. If you wanted to prepare this earlier, cover it with cling film, pop it into the fridge. Then when your guests come, or a few minutes before your guests, this could be your starter if you do them smaller, or again your main course if you want to do it big. So I'm going to give my hands a wash and we'll go over and we'll fry them on the pan. This is the chili sauce. It's after coming off the cooker. Now, if you followed the ingredients and the menu, the recipe that you got, you'll get a full bottle. Just for the purposes of cooking this, I just did smaller quantities. So you can see the bits of chili in it. And it can be a lighter red or a darker red, depending on the chilies that you've used. So these are going to cook slowly, guys, on the pan. So I don't really mess with them that much. I might slightly, as you can see here, press them down. I'll turn up the heats. You want them to cook slow because you want them to cook through. So I'll leave them like this for a minute, 2 minutes on one side. I'll flip them again. I'm so used to make them, I've never timed them. I would definitely be talking about 6 minutes here. You'd have to give them at least 6 minutes. If you put more oil into the pan or you have a deeper pan, you could fry them, but just remember you're trying to cook them slowly because they have to cook on the inside, not on the outside only. So we'll come back to this in 2 minutes and you can see them all golden brown. Okay guys, you can actually see the colour. I've turned them over. So you can see the nice golden colour they got. Now this would be, even if you had white rice flour or brown rice flour, it doesn't change the colour. And they'll all firm up. So you want them to be this colour because then you know at least They have a good time here on the cooker, just to make sure they're all cooked inside. Just turn them all around and giving them that golden brown. So you can see them there. This will serve, you could serve 3 people, or you could just do 2 people, and it could be your main dish. Now I do like to let these cool before I directly put them onto a bed of mixed leaves I have prepared here. But again, you can serve them just by themselves, but I do like the combination of the mixed leaves. So I'm turning them over just to slightly brown them on the other side, and then I think we're ready. I have the chili sauce. This will last at least 3 months to 6 months in your fridge. I sterilised the bottle beforehand. I popped it into a saucepan, filled it with water, let the water boil, and then I lifted out the bottle. So the lid and the bottle is already sterilised, and the sweet chili sauce will definitely last in the fridge, guys, for 3 to 6 months. I would slightly let these cool again before you put them on, but just for this, there's one. Two. Three. Now, I would serve this personally myself. I would serve this as a main course. If it's for starter purposes, I wouldn't serve more than 2. Then your chili sauce. I'm going to drizzle it over. And then to garnish, everything's off there. You can get a small bit of coriander. And there is your prawn, rice, fish cakes, gluten-free, with homemade sweet chili sauce. I hope you enjoyed, and thank you again.